Boom, baby, Morad, Fiki, what's going on? Today's Friday, February 25th, Explosive Growth Day 5. You know, this is something this has just been my passion project. It has been my sincere honor and my pleasure to serve you over the last 5 days. We've covered a wide, diverse array of topics, and it's just been something incredible. I hope you've enjoyed it with me as thoroughly as I have. And so we're going to do an overview today. We're going to do a quick recap. We're going to discuss our next steps from here and how you take it to the next level. And I can't wait to serve you. So let's dig right in. I really appreciate your time and spending this last week with me. Let me share my screen with you. All right, here we go. Yes, Explosive Growth 5-Day Challenge. So let's go right into it. You know, we'll get into our disclaimer again. I'm not a financial advisor, attorney, CPA. I am a licensed real estate agent and a real estate investor. We've discussed my own personal results and experiences, and I cannot guarantee any results for anyone. There are many external and internal factors involved. Whether or not you decide to become an investor and make your own investment decision is a personal choice. As with all investment decisions, you must do your own due diligence. And that's where it comes investing. Do you want to be a gambler or an investor? Do you just want to roll some dice and hope it works out? You want to flip a coin, or you want to invest? Make sound investment decisions that produce a beautiful rate of return for you and your family. Real estate investing is risky, and should you decide to invest, you do so at your own risk. So today's word of the day is determination. Determination is the firmness of purpose, the resoluteness, the process of establishing something exactly by calculation or research. A judicial decision or sentence, a determination, a settlement of a dispute by the authoritative decision of a judge or an arbitrator. Determination. But when I like to discuss determined makes me think of unwavering commitment and dedication. I am determined to be successful. That means nothing and no one will stop me. I am determined to make this happen, meaning come hell or high water, I'm going to figure it out. We're going to make mistakes. We're going to dust ourselves off. We're going to brush it off. We're going to move forward, and we're going to take action, massive action. That is what we're going to do. We're going to take massive action. And so being determined is committed and not being a quitter. There's so many quitters. You know, so many people quit so easy, by the way. They just, you know, it gets tough and this is something new and they don't know what they're doing. And so they quit. But anything that's worth anything of substance, anything that's worth something of value, anything that is going to take you and your family to the next level is going to be tough. There's going to be rough. There's going to be hills. It's going to be ups and downs and swings. But you know what? Being determined and dedicated, it means I'm going to push through the resistance. And you're not going to be a quitter like 98% of people out there who try something new. You know, they say 9 out of 10 businesses fail within the first 5 years. 9 out of 10 businesses do not make it the first 5 years. Why is that? Because being in business is tough. Being in business is tough, and it takes a firm resolve, an unwavering commitment. If I don't quit, I will not fail. And that's what I think of when I think of determination. So I champion you. I know you've got it. You've got what it takes. You've got more than what it takes. But you got to stay committed. You got to be determined. You got to make it happen. So I'll leave that with you. So today we're going to do an overview. We covered a lot of topics this week. We covered mindset. We covered crushing limiting beliefs. We've all had limiting beliefs, and we got to get through those limiting beliefs in order to get to the next level. The biggest thing is the belief that I can do this. I can do this. If you don't believe you can do this, you're not going to take the actions required to do this. And that goes with anything. If you don't believe you can do something, you're not going to take action. And you're definitely not going to take massive action. And so that's why you've got to have belief that you can do it, and belief that you're going to figure it out. And if it doesn't work out the first time, it'll work out the next time. If it doesn't work out that time, it'll work out the next time. So we discussed how we can be successful in real estate, doing real estate for a living or a side hustle. You know, it's not a bad idea to get started in real estate investing as you do your other job. You know, that way you don't have the pressure, the added pressure that you have to figure this out in the next 30 days because you got bills coming due. So you can do real estate full time. You can go dive all in like I did when I was honorably discharged from the Navy. I dove right into real estate full time, 100%. You can do that, but that's tough. Or you can also do it on the side and get it going and buy some time to get it going as you build your business. We discussed fix and flip investment strategy. We discussed the formula, what we're looking for. Do we have a deal or no deal, right? Just because a wholesaler handed you a deal and said this is a deal, that doesn't mean it's a deal. You know, we got to do some due diligence. We got to do some real estate analysis. We got to look at the facts and figures. And we're going to determine whether or not we actually have a deal or no deal. So that's very important. We looked at sourcing and funding deals. How do we source deals? Where are the deals coming from? We looked at multifamily apartment investing. My favorite class of investing in apartments is multifamily apartment investing. There's just something about passive cash flow. Mailbox money, passive. When you made a great investment, let that investment pay you. I love that. We discussed fixing and flipping versus buying and holding. There are multiple strategies, but when you're going into an investment, you have to decide, what is my exit strategy? What is the exit strategy? You know, a good friend of mine and a very successful real estate investor has a portfolio of about 165 houses, rental homes. You know, he says, I never bought one of these rental homes with the goal that this is my rental home. It ended up becoming a rental home when I couldn't sell it at the price I needed to after I did the rehab. And so I can always rent my way out of a bad deal. And that's a way that he learned and also built his rental portfolio. Now he's got a bunch of rental homes paying him every single month. Isn't that beautiful? That's beautiful. So fixed and flipping versus buying and holding. When and where would we determine either or? The Houston heat map. We discussed the Houston heat map, looking at the areas that are appreciating vastly, the areas that are appreciating quickly, and the areas that appreciate quickly, maybe you want to hold on to those properties for quite some time before you sell. That's how you build wealth. And we discussed your investment goals. So we covered a lot this week. Let's keep on going with the overview. We discussed why invest in multifamily versus building a rental portfolio or doing both. But what are the pros and cons of multifamily? When I'm talking about multifamily, I'm specifically talking about 60 units or more. Now, again, are duplexes, triplexes, fourplexes, eightplexes, are those multifamily? Yeah, of course they are. Of course they are. You have a bunch of doors in one location. You're achieving economies of scale where what I mean by that with economies of scale is meaning that now you have one location that you can do renovations on, that you can get properties fixed up, that you can do different things instead of multiple. Instead of having 8 houses, you have one location with an eightplex. So you're achieving economies of scale. But I'm specifically mentioning 60 units plus because when you have a certain number of cash flow and you reach a certain point, that's when we can have on-site property management. We can have full-time property management that can handle the repairs, the renovations, the updates. We can have all kinds of different things with the 60 plus units. We discussed building wealth versus immediate cash flow. We discussed property management. So building wealth versus immediate cash flow, real quick. That is also a method of looking at the investment strategy. You know, are we building wealth or do we just want immediate cash flow? Which also is a method where we could use, you know, wholesaling properties or whatnot. We discussed how to get started with zero money or credit. Different ways to get started with nothing. We discussed wholesaling real estate, where you're selling your contract or the right to purchase a piece of property. You're not actually selling the property. Why? Because you don't own it yet. You know, you're selling your equitable right to purchase that property. That is your contract. And that's wholesaling. And I will also say regulators and legislators are cracking down on wholesalers. There's been some bad actors when it comes to wholesaling who have taken advantage of people. And so it's very important if you're talking to a wholesaler, do they have a good reputation? Do they do good business? Do they know people, or are they known within the industry? What do other people say about them? You almost have to do as much due diligence on the wholesaler as you have to do on the property. So it's very important to look at their reputation. So be very cautious when dealing with a wholesaler. And if you want to become a wholesaler, do good business, have ethics, be ethical, be honest. So just a few tit for tat. That's just my 2 cents on that. We talked about driving for dollars, another way to source deals, finding rundown abandoned properties that nobody's doing anything with them. A great way to find deals and find deals that you can liquidate to cash. We talked about different ways of sourcing deals, the tax auction, the foreclosure. We talked about, you know, finding deals, getting your name out there. Social media is a great way to get people to bring deals to you, letting people know, hey, you're buying houses. You are buying houses. And guess what? At the right price, everybody's buying property at the right price. And from now on, that's going to be the way you talk about that. You are buying houses at the right price. You're ready to buy. You're a buyer. So we talk about sourcing deals. We talk about financing deals, funding deals, hard money loans, private loans, 401ks, lines of credit. We talked about bank financing, credit unions, home equity lines of credit. We talked about all the different ways that you can fund deals. Owner finance, properties that are owned free and clear, and you know, maybe you can get an owner finance. We talked about subject to, taking a property subject to the existing financing remaining in place. We talked about hiring the right contractors. I know contractors that do great business. And that's the other thing. You want to find a contractor who knows what they're doing and they're going to be honest, right? You don't want the contractor who's going to tell you a super low quote so they can get the business. And then when it's time to get the business, they got to add in the real costs. That's not good business, right? We talked about paying your contractor on a schedule. Why is this important? Because, you know, unfortunately, I've got to say it, a lot of contractors aren't great business people and they don't manage their money in a great way. And they tend to use this person's money to fund this deal. And now, you know, they're kind of working backwards. They're waiting on the next money to fund your deal and pay for your deal. And guess what? The Ponzi scheme runs out sooner or later. So, you know, be very cautious working with contractors. Get a great reference. Do they do good business? Do they have references? Do they use cheap products? You don't want to use cheap products. You want good products. You want a great product for the end buyer. And you're also building a reputation. So if somebody's putting cheap stuff in your houses, and then you're selling cheap houses, guess what? It's going to be cheap. And then you look cheap. So don't do dirty business, and make sure you do great contractors. We talked about joint ventures, partnerships, ways to partner on deals, different ways that you can partner up and make business happen. We talked about the massive tax advantages, the holy grail, which is depreciation. Depreciation. It is written into the tax code. It is codified. It is not a loophole. It is actually written into the tax code on why long-term multifamily apartment investments are great on your tax return. Why would the government do that? Because you're providing a public service that the government does not want to do. Investors are providing a public service, and that is housing. So we talked about 100% bonus depreciation on multifamily assets. That's a part of the massive tax advantages. I will say the 100% bonus to depreciation is not infinite. There is an expiration date coming up soon on that. I believe, don't quote me on this, I believe it's 2023 when they're going to start phasing that out, unless the Congress does something about that. We discussed apartment syndications, real estate syndications, bringing deals together, bringing investors together. And collectively, we can buy a $10 or $20 million property or $100 million property through an apartment syndication. This happens all the time. These are great ways to put deals together. So that was let me see. Is there any questions, anything on our overview? That was pretty much what we covered this week. A lot of topics. We got someone saying, yes, thank you. I appreciate it. This has been awesome. Boom. Someone else saying, boom. I love that. You know what? Real estate is explosive and will take your family into the stratosphere if you commit to it and you continue investing. You don't wait to buy real estate. You buy real estate and wait. Uncle G says that. So Renee says, woo, so true. Thank you, Renee. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. My buddy Israel says, never quite what? I think he's talking about some of the deal analysis. Israel's doing a lot of real estate, so I love that guy. You're doing great, and thank you for your service to our country, by the way. Thank you. Got someone saying, loving this. Thank you. Appreciate it. So much good information. Have you ever had to fire a contractor and switch to a new one in the middle of a project? That's a great question. A lot of people end up doing that. They have to fire contractors because they're doing shoddy work. And this is a big thing I want to mention too. Don't do shoddy work. Don't get caught up in the shoddy work. Why? Because with the shoddy work, you're going to end up having to redo it, and you're going to spend more than you would have spent if you'd have done it right the first time. So definitely don't use contractors to do shoddy work or overpromise and underdeliver. And I haven't had to fire contractors in the middle of a project because I'm very cautious about who I hire. Hopefully that doesn't have to happen. But I know investors who have. I definitely know investors who have and have withheld monies from them. And that's why you want to pay them on a schedule. You want them to do the work and then you pay. Do the work and then you pay. It's the same way the bank is going to give you draws. When you have a construction loan, the bank is going to verify that the work was done. Here's your draw on the loan. Now you have to do X amount of work. You do phase two. Phase two is complete. They literally send someone to the project. The appraiser checks it off, does a report, says they did all the work and it's sufficient. It looks good. And then you get the draw. So, if they're not doing work, and that's why you want to pay them on a schedule. That way they have to complete the work before they get paid. And if they didn't do it right, they didn't complete it, they're not getting paid. And that's how you hold their feet to the fire. But yeah, I have seen contractors get fired and had to get let go. And that's unfortunate, but ends up costing you more money in the long run. So that's great. Yeah, appreciate y'all. This has been fantastic. Where do we go from here? We're going to launch our explosive growth mentorship today. And here's what you're going to get. It's going to be a 12-week mentorship program We're going to include the workbook, the resources, the private community where investors can band together, and we're going to work together and focus on each other and give that moral support. We're going to have unlimited access to explosive growth mentorship training archive. We're going to give lifetime access to the mentorship training. We're going to have explosive access to VIP events. We're going to have in-person events coming very soon. We're going to be announcing those. We're going to have expert guest speakers at our workshops, real estate success stories and case studies. And you're going to get the most important thing, a one-on-one strategy session with me. I'm going to help you formulate your strategy. I'm going to help you get involved in fix and flipping, buying and holding, long-term real estate investing, multifamily apartment investing, whatever fits your strategy and what you need to get involved with at the time being. I'm going to help you craft that and then help you get on track. You need that daily mentorship that's going to keep you on track. So that's what we're going to be launching here for only $997. Total value $10,976. Today only, we're offering it for $997 or 3 payments of $397. So scan that QR code. Let me know if this is something that might interest you, and we will see you on the inside. I can't wait to see you on the inside. So thank you so much for being with me this week. This has been something absolutely fantastic. And I'm going to see you on the inside. If you have any questions, be sure to email us. Let us know at Morad@MoradFiki.com. We'll be happy to answer your questions or jump on a phone call and discuss the explosive growth mentorship program, 12-week mentorship program. We're going to go deep on these topics. And most importantly, we're going to craft your investment strategy. So I can't wait to see you on the inside. And it's been a fantastic week. Thank you for spending the time with me. And we're going to see you next time.